All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. I am not in my typical background. We're in the living room of the apartment / kind of kitchen. Reason for that is because, and let me know if the audio's off. So let me know if it's okay. Let me know if it's bad. Let me know if there's too much of an echo. I'm using my AirPods, so the mic should be relatively decent, but let me know if it's bad. And if it is, we'll kind of change in a second. The electricity in that studio is not working for whatever reason. I don't know why. Already put in a maintenance request for it, but it's just like not working for some reason. Decided to not work. So as a result, we are here. Sound is bad. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's
Okay, let me know if that's a little better. Sound's definitely not going to be as best as the studio. Unfortunately, the recording studio downstairs was taken, but this one should be better. I have the same microwave. I feel like everyone has the same microwave. Sound is better. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know. It literally an hour ago, I had to do a podcast as well, and I had to end up recording it like on the couch because the studio just like, I don't know, it was weird. But regardless, S&P baby, all-time highs, 668.94 on the S&P 500, which is very, very nice to see. And we are getting some momentum right here. 669. SPX actually hit 670. So we didn't get that on SPY yet, but we did hit 669 right there, up about 0.5% on the day. Tesla, big day. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to Tesla, breaking through 461, 461.40. It's up 4% on the day. Tomorrow is going to be very, very, very important as those delivery numbers come out. And so far, Kalshi actually is saying their delivery projections are at 510,000. Wall Street's at 447,000. So the fact that it's at 510,000, that's a big, that's a $60,000 difference or 60,000 car difference. And if that's the case, that could be massive for Tesla. Crappy day, bought another 1,000 shares at 588. So unfortunately, this one has just been a dud all day. Not sure why. There's no headline for it to be down 2.5%. Maybe just end of quarter or early beginning of a new quarter rebalancing. It's kind of people taking some profits. It did make a 30% move last quarter. So not sure exactly what's going on, but I did buy the dip here, about 1,000 shares at 588. 587 is what you have right now. That's up, or that's down 2.49%. Google right here, that's up about 1%. AMD's up 1%. S&P again up 0.5%. Ethereum having a great day. Now, and I know a lot of people are asking, wait a second, why is Ethereum up but BMNR is not moving? And that is likely because Tom Lee is probably diluting today, and it would be a very smart thing for him to dilute. So when the stock was around that 54.40, hopefully from 53.50 to 54.40 is when he diluted. That would be very good because he could get the maximum price based on the MNAV. But this is healthy to see. It's very healthy to see. It's not like anything's broken. Ethereum up 5% and Bitcoin up 1% is good because that means they're dumping more shares to be able to raise more money to buy Ethereum, but they're dumping them at a super premium against the underlying net asset value. So to me, that's actually very bullish. And so not too bad to see for Bitcoin. Bitcoin right there, that's up 3%. AppLovin, that's down 1.2%. Circle was down 3% on the day. PayPal again continues to go down about 1%. SMCI, big breakout, that's up 8%. NVIDIA got to 188. Looks like we're going to hopefully get that 187 close in about 11 minutes. We'll see how that kind of plays out. This is with the government shutdown that has started today, and we'll talk more about that shutdown. The Democrats and Republicans are going to do another vote in a couple hours, and we'll see what happens there. But the fact that NVIDIA broke through 188, the fact that Tesla's breaking through 460, Robinhood unfortunately giving up the 140s, that is not a surprise, or I don't think it should be a surprise to anyone given the 20% move it's had this week. So down 3% today, I think that's rather normal. But the markets are hitting a new all-time high on the day of the initiation of the shutdown. Same thing with the NASDAQ right there, 603.50. Small caps, were they up today? Small caps were indeed up today by about 0.5%. So not too bad. Not too bad at all. A pretty strong day to get into Q4. And we're seeing this with momentum around certain IPOs like Fermi. Let me know if anyone got shares of this one. A couple of you guys said you got an allocation this morning. This is up 40%. This is pretty much doing what I think most of us thought it would do. It's an energy name, nuclear name. It's in the whole data center space. So obviously it would probably get a little bit of a pop. It's up 40%. Question here is, do you sell? I honestly have no idea. If I had shares, I would probably take the money and run, but I'm also very short-term minded when it comes to IPOs, and we're gonna have to see if this is sustainable for a company like Fermi. But market cap right here, they went public at 13 billion, so it's 40% above 13 billion right now, breaking through $30.35. There you go, high of day, 45%. And they IPO'd at around 24. The listing price was 21. They came open at 24, and right now at 30. So the fact that you're having a day like this across the board with an SMCI, with an NVIDIA, with a Fermi, which, yes, you can't necessarily flip the shares if you don't want to be banned on certain platforms from participating in more IPOs. But if you don't care about that, then maybe you can flip the shares. The fact that all that's happening on a day with the shutdown, to me, is just incredible. And I think that is pretty damn resilient strength in the broader market, which is exciting. Exciting to see. ARM, did that one make a move today? A bunch of the semis. Yeah, look at that. ARM up 6.5%. How about Broadcom? That was up 2% last time I checked. That's up now 1%. AMD again, nice little move. Dell, was that up because of SMCI? Dell, that's up 5%. SMCI again up 8%. All of them seeming to follow the backs on NVIDIA. Unfortunately, Meta didn't join the party today. Meta's still at 717, got to 710 in the morning, and this one's kind of just been stuck compared to the rest of the Mag 7, as you can see right there. Tesla, Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, all having a decent day. Tesla having the best day. And then Meta right there, slightly down in the day. SoFi back down to 2564. That was also weird, given we saw this morning the reason that SoFi fell yesterday was because of that Upstart report. That Upstart report, BTIG came out and said they made a mistake in the calculation of their numbers for credit delinquencies, which was the reason why SoFi went down. SoFi's right back at the same price when the report came out, even though the entire report today was deemed as a bogus report. So not sure why this one wasn't able to hold up. I guess there's still more fears around credit delinquencies in the country, and that's leading to affect companies like SoFi, but that one is still down 2.6% on the day. And then you had Palantir, 185. It got almost to 187, 186.28 right here. It looks like it's going to close above 185, which I think is pretty damn exciting. Again, on a day like this where you've got a lot of names that are going red or flat, to have some of these other names just hit new all-time highs is pretty exciting, or at least try to get back to their all-time highs, which is very dope to see. So you got Palantir right there at 185. Triple V, thank you for being here. Thank you for the $200 super chat. Appreciate you, sir. Triple V did buy some more grabby grab today. He bought about 1 million more shares at that $6 range. So he now has about 6 million shares, a little bit above 6 million shares. And he bought the dip. Again, I really do like the price action on Grab because to me it's consolidating. Obviously, the stock going down is not the best thing to see, but the fact that the stock is now going down to levels that have basically become a base, I mean, the fact that it's holding 580 to 620 to me, given the thing was stuck from 4 to 450 for like the majority of the year, I think that's rather bullish. So you are getting some momentum there. And again, Q3 coming up, I think that re-rates the company. They raise EBITDA guidance. They kind of have a 30% growth quarter. All that stuff is necessary. So, I mean, it's one of the easiest risk rewards to me in the market. It's a safe risk reward as well. And that's why I bought more shares today, along with Mr. Triple V. So thank you, Mr. Triple V, for being here. Thank you for the $200 super chat. And thank you all for joining the show today as well. VRT is pushing all-time highs. A lot of these data center plays, Vertiv, continuing to move. That's up 6%. IREN, that's flat on the day. How about Bitfarms? That was also basically flat. And then we had CleanSpark. That is up about 0.5%. By the way, Steve will be joining at around 4:25, 4:30-ish. So we'll get him on the show and get his thoughts. He's been buying more Bitmine. Tanner made a great video about Bitmine for those that haven't watched it. And you know how I've been saying a lot of people in the retail investing community cares about Bitmine and BMNR? It's kind of like this Tom Lee effect. Tanner's video has like 40,000 views in less than 24 hours. And that goes to show you how many people really care about Bitmine. I mean, that's a simple piece of due diligence that we all can look at together, looking at the view count on a video for a stock that doesn't have that many people making videos about it. The fact that 40,000 people watched this video in less than 24 hours, that means people really care about Bitmine. Also, it was a great video and he did a really good job breaking everything down, but it means that he was serving supply to a lot of demand that's out there about this stock. And I think that's the Tom Lee effect, which is why it's so liquid. It's why they're able to dilute at a premium. And long-term, if ETH keeps moving, you know, this is what should be the larger, broader macro trade around the leverage against Ethereum, which ends up being Bitmine, which is exciting to see. ASTS, okay, so I guess the news yesterday about Bluebird 6 really helped it. 16% on the day. My goodness, that is a hell of a move. Volume is 18 million. The average volume is 12 million. So that's 6 million above its average volume. And you're seeing some momentum right there. Tesla, again, 460. Why is Tesla up? I think it's based on, well, there's two things. Number one, obviously everyone's ready for deliveries tomorrow, and that data is going to be very important. But number two, there's a rumor going around, and some of you guys have probably seen it, of an affordable Tesla. I know we've talked about that many times, but apparently people are thinking it's going to be announced on earnings. Or some people said they saw it leaked on the website. This account right here said that it's called the Model Y Standard. It's going to be $39,990. And it has a bunch of these different features that make it the affordable version of Tesla. I mean, dude, if they actually show an affordable Tesla, which is what everyone's been waiting for, kind of that Model 2 idea of like, hey, what is the affordable car? By the way, Marvell right here trying to break green on the day. I think that'd be pretty exciting. And I think that could definitely get the stock to re-rate. Elon is, buying $1 billion worth of stock. There's a $1 trillion compensation package. And now if there's an affordable car with rates coming down, those are catalysts. Those are definitely catalysts to get people excited about. So we got to see if it happens, but it will be very nice to see if it ends up actually playing out. Aaron, thank you for the $70 super chat. Amit, it's my birthday today. Wanted to say thank you for the work you do. Been listening to you since 2021 and found you when I bought Palantir. I listened to you every market open and close. Also look at Nebius. It's a monster in the making. Cheers to you. Aaron, thank you so much for being here. Nebius has been an absolute monster, and a lot of retail where he was able to jump on this stock back when it was in the 20s and 30s. 115.47, just below that 117 all-time high on Nebius. So congratulations. Happy birthday to you. And thank you for being here every day on the market open, market close. There's going to be a lot of October birthdays. October's a big one. So we'll probably be celebrating a ton of birthdays here in the chat. MicroStrategy, that's up 5% as Bitcoin. Bitcoin, by the way, I found some data on its October. Bitcoin did break 118 at one point. The only October that's been red for Bitcoin in the past 10 years has been 2018. And that was a lot to do with the trade war with China that was happening back then. So kind of all assets were affected. But every October since 2015, Bitcoin has had a really good, what they call Uptober. If that continues, then that would be very, very bullish for Bitcoin. AMD into the close. Are we trying to break 164? There you go. Breaking 164. That's up 1.4%. And then you got Tesla. Oh, wow. Tesla, ugly red candle. Look at that. You guys see that? Tesla 462 to 459. I know it's only a couple bucks, but into the close, definitely some people taking a little bit of profit there, but the stock's up 15 bucks today. I mean, you can't be too upset, but you are getting some green. Okay, Micron is up today. There was a deal announced with Samsung and SK Hynix. So in the storage space, this doesn't have to do with Micron, but as you can see right here, Samsung and SK Hynix signed agreements to supply chips and gear for OpenAI Stargate computer project with demand projected at 900,000 wafers per month, more than double the global current HBM capacity. So even though this wasn't a Micron deal, the fact that the industry around memory storage and the two other biggest players outside of Micron, Samsung, and SK Hynix signed a massive agreement with OpenAI, I think it showed the market there is way more demand than what we thought for memory storage. And that's why Micron's likely getting a pump right there, up about 8.5%. I still don't know why ABCL pumped today. I didn't see any fundamental headline. I mean, if someone knows, let me know. But if you're in it, congrats. 18% on a day for a biotech with no massive news is not easy to get. And I feel like there's got to be some headline. I just haven't seen it. But that one also having a pretty great day, which is not too bad. Dell and SMCI, yeah, same thing around that entire semiconductor ecosystem, getting those to pump. And as you can see right there, Dell and SMCI up about 5 and 8% on the day. All right, here we go. We got 40 seconds until the market closes. Again, I am in my kitchen because the electricity in the studio went out. I don't know why. It has to be a fuse or something. So it should be fixed by tomorrow. But yeah, the show must go on. It looks like we're going to get some pretty decent closes across the board. Palantir gunning for 185. Tesla trying to gun for 460. And the S&P looks like it's going to close at all-time high 668, which is not too bad on a day where the government is shutting down. Wednesday, October 1st, 4 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The stock market is now closed. Have no idea how the bell sounded, given we are in the living room, but hopefully it wasn't too bad. There you go, folks. We are closed. We are closed on the day, first day of October. And then first day to begin Q4 is what we've got to end out the day. S&P 668.30 on the close, still up 0.33%. It was at 669. For everyone saying 7,000, 6,900, eventually that move's going to have to happen. And so far, we're getting very close to maybe making that breakout. 668 on the S&P 500. Really nice move on the first day of Q4. Palantir up 1.4%, 184.98. Hoodie gave back some of the gains. Very, very normal. I don't think anyone can be too upset about this. Pumps to 143, closes at 139. Not too bad given it was at 121 2 days ago. Literally 2 days ago on Monday. AMD, that's up 1.6%. S&P again up 0.32. NVIDIA gets the 187 close. That's really nice to see. NVIDIA getting that close just above 187. ASML, did we break 1,000? We broke 1,000. Congratulations for those that have been in this one. A little bit of a rocky journey since October of 2024 when something in their earnings, I think it was like 50% revenue guidance was cut based on them losing one of their suppliers. It was just something wonky that happened back then. I remember because I was in India and I saw the stock literally just tank in front of me. But since then, it's been on a roller coaster, hit 1,000, came all the way back down to 650, and now it's back to 1,003. That's up 3.6%. On the day. Grab right here ends the day at 588. Google right there, 244. SoFi still down about 2.69%. You had Meta that just did not participate with the Max 7 that was down about 2.26%. Amazon at 220. Salesforce down about 0.5%. PayPal down 0.5%. Elf was up a little bit. Apple was up a little bit. SMCI, great day, up a bit, a little bit more than a bit, 8%. Jason, by the way, to give Jason a little bit of credit, yesterday on Technical Tuesday, this was his stock of the month. He's in $60 calls for January. He really thinks the technical setup is strong on SMCI. And you got a nice little 8% move the day after. Ethereum right there, 4,300. Then Bitcoin, 117.4 is what we've got for Bitcoin. BMNR, what do we get on the close? We get 52. Again, I really think Bitmine, healthy price action today. ETH up 5% means that Tom Lee was likely diluting around 53 and 54. And he's taking that money. We're probably going to get a notification in a couple of days that he bought a ton more Ethereum. And the closer they get to that 5%, the better it's going to be for them to ultimately stake and continue to move from there. Now, Intel got a bit of a pump today after the close as well because of a new partnership / potential customer. So Intel is in early talks that AMD as one of their foundry customers. AMD relies on TSMC for most of its manufacturing along with NVIDIA, but the US government has made it clear that bolstering Intel is a top priority. The reason why Intel might be able to get the Apple investment, the reason why Intel might be able to get AMD to be the foundry customer is because Lisa Su, Tim Cook, Jensen Huang, they all want to keep good relationships with Trump. And if Trump's got an equity stake in Intel and he can get these companies to not only do their business in Taiwan, but to begin manufacturing some chips in the United States, I mean, Intel's likely going to get that business. Honestly, like, I don't know if Intel's a buy right here, especially after the move it's made from 18 to 36, but it's hard to say it's going back below the 20s unless they royally mess up every contract that's handed to them on a silver platter. If they just don't, I feel like they do well. It's a little bit of a tough buy given the move has already happened, but it doesn't seem like it has to necessarily sell off. So not too bad. That's what we got as we end out the day. NVIDIA right there, 187. Intel is up. And then the Fermi IPO for those, I saw a bunch of you guys in the chat saying that you did get some of your allocation. Look, it's up 40% and hopefully 56%. Actually, it's going continuing after hours. If that can continue, then hopefully that one ends up holding. Again, no revenue, bit expensive on the market cap, in my opinion, but it's in the right sector. And as long as it's in the right sector, the narrative is kind of all it needs. And then as long as they get a couple of deals, same thing with Oklo. I don't think these stocks have to go to zero. I think these stocks just have to get some deals. And quite frankly, I would hope they do get some deals because that lessens the frothiness argument around the stocks. And as a broader market participant, I don't want them to be frothy. So the more deals they get and the quicker they get them, sooner it can start to at least begin to justify a lot of these market caps, given the sector that they're in necessitates that they should be getting more deals. And that would be a good thing for Fermi. Close the government every day. Well, we looked at the patterns, right? Historically, when the government's closed, you tend to get a little bit of a boost, or the markets at least don't necessarily go down. And we're seeing that on the first day of Q4. Here's an update on Trump and China. They will be meeting, Trump and Xi, in a few weeks. And we're going to see if this China deal can come to fruition, hopefully soon.
President Trump says he's going to be meeting with Xi Jinping of China in the next 4 weeks. That's expected to take place on the sidelines of the APEC summit, the Asia-Pacific summit in South Korea at the end of this month. And the president here taking to social media to say that he's going to use some of the tariff money that he's taking in to bail out American farmers, saying the soybean farmers of our country are being hurt because China is for negotiating reasons only, not buying. We've made so much money on tariffs that we're going to take a small portion of that money and help our farmers. I will never let our farmers down, the president says. It's all going to work out very well. I love our patriots, and every farmer is exactly that. I'll be meeting with President Xi of China in 4 weeks, and soybeans will be a major topic of discussion. So that's the leverage point, one of the leverage points that the Chinese side has in this ongoing trade war, Scott, is to put pressure on American farmers, a lot of them located in red states in the president's political base, by not purchasing the expected billions in soybeans that they would typically do every year. That's putting pressure in states like Iowa, where the president is popular, and the president eager here to take some action to try to mitigate some of that political pressure, Scott.
You know, when I heard this story, Eamon, I couldn't help but think to the controversy, if you want to call it that, over a prospective bailout, to use that word, of Argentina.
Yeah.
Because one of the issues raised there by some critics was the fact that Argentina had cut its export taxes on soybeans to China, ostensibly making them cheaper for the Chinese to buy their soybeans rather than American farmers, which was a point of concern that was certainly raised in certain corners. You know, therefore, you still may get the bailout of Argentina in whatever form it takes, but now you've got a way to appease the farmers in Iowa and elsewhere over their soybeans, but blame the Chinese for it and take some of the money that's come in from tariffs related to China and take care of it that way.
This is exactly how Trump wants the situation to play out. He does not want to get the blame from a government shutdown to be the reason why the farmers aren't happy, or for tariffs to be the reason why farmers aren't happy, but he can use the tariff revenue to kind of fix at least some of the concerns in the short term until they get a deal with China. The ironic thing about this whole soybean situation is, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, soybeans was one of the major issues back in 2018. 2018 Q4, when we had a horrendous Q4 and the market really collapsed, and you know even with the shutdown, market ended up recovering. But that November, December that it sucked, it was soybeans. That was one of the issues. And so you would hope soybeans does not become the defining characteristic of Q4. And I don't think Trump wants a repeat of what happened in 2018. And, you know, given we got the TikTok deal done with China, there should be some incentive for the Chinese to hopefully get us some progress on soybeans. But that was the problem 6 years ago, and it looks like there hasn't been that much progress since then. And as a result, that seems to be the thing they're going to be talking about. Yeah, and so it was a bunch of you guys saying in 2018 it was soybeans. Again, very, very different economy since then, different political landscape, but that issue has been something Trump has dealt with for a very long time, and hopefully we can negotiate a better deal. Pound right there, 184 after hours, Google 243, grab 591. Some people are saying, can you give us some of your thoughts on what's going on with Grab? Again, my thoughts right here is that very healthy price action. I do think it needs to come down before it makes the next move up. I'm buying heavily in this range. I think this 580 to 620 range to me is like easy buys. If you think the stock's going to 10, it really, 10, 15 cents here or there is not going to make that much of a difference. Do I think it's going below 550 again? No, I really don't. If it happens, it happens, and I'd be wrong. But I think it's developing a very solid base at these levels, and it would have to really crack under that 570, 560 for it to be evident that the trend is broken. I don't think that's the case. So there's still a nice inverse head and shoulders. I believe momentum is on their side. Also, there hasn't been a lot of insider selling. I thought there would be way more insider selling above 6 because these insiders are finally getting liquidity above $6 for the first time in 4 years, and there's not. There's like a couple 100,000 shares max. So I do think this is more of a buy the dip. Dell right here, that is continuing to go green after hours, up 5.5%. We don't have any earnings today, so nothing to look at in terms of earnings. However, we do have earnings coming up. I mean, starting October 9th, we've got Delta Airlines, and then October 14th, we've got the banks. J&J, well, that's a pharmacy company, but you got some of the pharmaceuticals, then you have Wells Fargo, BlackRock, JPM, Goldman Sachs, tons of different companies as we ultimately get into earnings season. And that will be happening pretty damn soon. Yeah, already, right? It's like in 13 days, bro. Less than 13, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Webull down about 4% today. 2 weeks until we get it. It's almost like we just got out of earnings, but we're getting back in. And that's the fun part about covering the markets. It's like you have your Super Bowl 4 times a year, Fermi still moving after hours. Wow, 61%. It ended the day at 40%, up another 20% basically after hours. Now, if the SEC changes the quarterly reporting cadence, then we're not going to have that type of fun. But so far we have that, which is very nice. Porter, thanks for the super chat today. Bought the grab dip. Also celebrating my portfolio hitting 50,000. Started investing in April. Let's go. Thank you, sir. Porter, congratulations on 50,000. That is absolutely incredible. I bought the grab dip with you today, and the fact that you started investing in April and you're at 50K is absolutely amazing. So congratulations on that. Heavy on the avocado. Thank you for the $50 super chat. It's one of the coolest names ever. Heavy on the avocado. That's a great name. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. And Alex, thank you for the $10 super chat as well. The stack market is now closed. I guess I do say it like stack. I thought I say stock, but I guess it sounds like stack. So there you go. Google, they had an AI event today. This is what happened with their smart home AI revamp. The stock didn't really react too much to it, but this was one of their bigger announcements today in the world of AI.
Momentum, the smart home market is suddenly back in play. Google this morning announcing its biggest overhaul since 2016, swapping in Gemini to replace Assistant across smart speakers, redesigning the home app, and launching an upgraded line of Nest cameras and doorbells. It's the first time that Google's bringing its Gen AI tech into the home, transforming once passive hardware into devices that respond more naturally. And it comes one day after Amazon unveiled new home hardware with Alexa Plus integration, which landed with more of a whimper than a bang. Still, both launches show just how much the voice assistant wars have evolved. Amazon and Google are bolting large language models onto their products, trying to turn voice from a simple command tool into a smarter, more intuitive interface for everything from smart homes to search. And for Google, voice is really becoming another way to tighten ecosystem lock-in across phones, homes, and everything in between. Amazon, still shut out of the mobile operating system race, is using Alexa and Echo as a backdoor play for platform relevance. Gene Munster telling me the home category really peaked around 2015. That's when voice assistants got better at understanding language, but not at doing much with it. Now, with Gemini, Google is betting that generative AI can finally deliver on its original promise, understanding context, not just commands, so that you can have a conversation with Gemini that will draw upon all these home inputs, like your Nest camera, to answer your question. And that experience really matters because this isn't just about what the hardware can do. It's about which company owns the layer you talk to. Guys?
Cue the privacy concerns.
Does anyone use these home assistants as much as like Google and Amazon focus on them? I mean, I know Alexa, and hopefully I'm not waking up anyone's Alexa, is in a lot of people's homes and people use it a decent chunk. I've never seriously used them. I don't talk to like a home assistant. I'd be willing to if there was some level of like real productivity from it. And in the age of AI, maybe that's what Google's aiming for here. But the stock did not really react too much to that today. Was up, 91 cents, 244 on Google. QuantumScape, this one did make a big move today. I don't see any fundamental news on this. Same thing with Accelera. If anyone has headlines, let me know. But I did not see any headlines on QS or ABCL. And QuantumScape is not actually a quantum computing company. Accelera, there you go, $6. That's up 20% today. No clue why. But would be curious to see what people think. Controlling the lights is great. Yeah, I've never used it to control the lights ever. My ex-girlfriend did, and now I have trauma when I hear the word echo. Dude, I've never used it. I activated your Alexa. I'm sorry. I'll probably activate it again. I've had one of those for 5 years. I've used it like twice. My wife does. She talks to Alexa to add stuff to the cart all the time as a reminder that she needs to shop that item. Damn, I've never used it ever. So, but like, again, if there's an AI version of it that's like meaningful, I'd be willing to talk to it. I just haven't done it ever since the original ones came out. This is what Elon tweeted today underneath someone who said, I have 2.2 million in Tesla stock. I have no other stocks, everything else in Tesla stock. Tesla fails, I fail. Tesla succeeds, I succeed. That is how I want to live life. Elon said, wise choice. So you got Elon. It's getting a little bit more bullish as well on being all in Tesla. And hopefully we get some really good delivery numbers that get us what we want to see. Let's do a poll right here in the chat on what we're thinking for delivery numbers. So Kalshi again has it Tesla numbers tomorrow at 510K. I'm going to do 510K or 447K. Let's just do two choices deliberately to see what people think. Do you agree with the prediction markets, or do you agree with the street consensus? I mean, the prediction markets on these issues don't tend to be that. Oh, wow. Is this true? Elon today has reached a $500 billion net worth 20 minutes ago. This is obviously because Tesla stock was up about 4% today. Wow. Elon, the world's first $500 trillionaire. That is kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy, but there you go. $500 billion for Elon. I mean, I think we all think he's going to be the world's first trillionaire eventually, but you got to get to 500 billion before you get to a trillion. This is the Kalshi picture. 512K is their forecast, way above street expectations. And, you know, if Kalshi gets it right, it's going to only further legitimize the prediction markets thesis, because it goes to show that a group of analysts in Wall Street are not doing as good of a job as overall humanity predicting something together via these prediction markets. And it's not always going to be accurate, but if it is accurate tomorrow, I mean, that's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. And you're going to have a lot of people on Wall Street start looking at Kalshi and Robinhood prediction markets and poly markets to kind of make their own understandings of investment decisions, if this is what matters a lot more. But there you go. 512K is what the streak is thinking of. Again, Tesla, fun day. I know a lot of people liked to see some of this price action. Could not get the 460 close, but we got 459. That's up 3.2%. We're going to get a lot more details tomorrow on how much energy in terms of gigawatts were put out, how many cars were produced, how many cars were delivered. And I think that should set up the beginning of what some people think will be a strong Q3. The problem is we know Q4 is not going to be like Q3 because the incentive for EVs is going to go away. So that is the jolt that Rivian, Tesla, all those companies should be getting. Rivian right here ended at 1463 on the day. But the question is going to be, can that stuff continue? Rocket Lab, that was up a little bit on the day, 4803. And then ASTS again had a monster day, up about 15%. So again, Triple V bought Grab today for those asking. Also, I forgot to say, he sold puts on Meta at 700. He sold puts on Meta at 700 for this week. So October 3rd, if Meta is below 700, he'll be assigned. If not, he collected about $3 of premium, which is pretty decent in a couple of days. But who else? Did anyone buy the Meta dip today? I was close at 710, didn't pull the trigger. I want to see if the trend can actually break to the downside. If not, then probably normalizes around 720, 730. But below 700, I get a bit more excited. We'll know around 9 to 9:15. 9 to 9:15, we'll have a much better understanding of it. Charles, thank you for the super chat. I like the stack market. I stack chips and I make cheese a cakewalk. Thanks a bit, Charles. Appreciate you. And hopefully you can continue to stack some chips. Thank you for being here. AAMC, thanks for the super chat. Can we talk about Fermi up 62%? So again, you know, the hard part about these IPOs is that you just don't know if it's going to pop or it's not. And I think all of us collectively thought it was going to probably pop. Unlike Klarna, that's in a space that's just not that exciting around buy now, pay later. Fermi's in the data center energy space. So that's why it popped. Now, does it hold a 65% move? I don't know. And unfortunately, if you have some shares and you're not allowed to flip them, then you kind of have to figure out over the lifetime of how long you are in a lockup to hold those shares. And, you know, a lot of people just didn't get that many allocated shares based on the IPO. So the question is simply, can it hold 65%? Or would you buy into, I wouldn't buy after the move, right? If I didn't get shares allocated, I wouldn't buy here up 65%. I just don't think there's anything fundamental to fully make sense of it. But it's energy. Maybe energy keeps moving. So I don't think it's a buy. I really don't think it's a buy. Now, maybe this thing goes to 60 and defies expectations, but the risk you're taking to get there is a bit more aggressive. So I would hold tight on this. But if you're holding, maybe it's not a sell either, right? Maybe it doesn't have to somehow fall back down into the 20s. But that one is green. Steve will be on in about 10 minutes, guys. He's finishing up a couple meetings, and he'll be on at 4:30. The two names he's been buying more of, BMNR and NVIDIA, continuing to allocate to those names. BMNR 5242, and then NVIDIA breaking through. He didn't even know NVIDIA hit 187 yesterday. I had to text him. It hit an all-time high. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He's like, I've been in meetings all day. I was like, well, it's going higher. It has been able to go higher. Oklo, same story, and went ballistic. Yeah, that's true. But see, here's the thing. This is something that's very important to like break down. Just because one stock has the same story and goes ballistic from 6 to 115 does not mean that is going to happen to another stock. Now, maybe that does happen, but the odds of it happening historically, or not even historically, well, historically and probabilistically, right? It's just the ability for a stock to go from 6 to 100, or for in the same case for Fermi to go from 20 to 200 is not that easy. So comparing it to another name in a whole different sector that's associated with Sam Altman, I mean, like this, it's just different, right? So could it happen? Yeah, but you have to ask yourself, are you willing to take that much risk? I am definitely not. So this one is not that exciting to bet on, especially after the move it made. But if it does, then you get rewarded for that risk. It's just hard to take that one. AMD 164, that one continuing to move. Salesforce, I think this one's just weird, bro. 235 has not been able to catch any mojo, down 30% for the year. Same thing with Adobe. I don't know. Now, I want to say Salesforce is at 300 in a year, and like the street wakes up and it's just not that intimidating to be in a stock that's doing 40 billion of revenue. The problem is the narrative around AI continues to be really bad for Salesforce, really bad for Adobe, really bad for Duolingo, even though Duolingo is growing way faster than Salesforce. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a unsafe stock to be in, but the opportunity cost, just like a PayPal, could be unsafe. And that might be the part where it's hard to get excited for it. Update on the stock draft. Matt has broken 30%. So Matt was at 27 to 29% for the past couple of days. He is breaking 30% right here. ASTS, he's now up 35% on that one, moving really helped him as well. I'm at 34.4. I do have Tesla in this portfolio. Tesla's up 40%. So Tesla's really helping out. Steve right there is up 6. Tanner's up 22.6. And then Chris is up 10.68%. And that's what we got in the stock draft. In terms of the top 20 stocks that were traded in the options market today, NVIDIA, Tesla, Intel, IBIT, Pfizer made the top 5. Apple, MicroStrategy, SMCI, Meta, Opendoor, Amazon, Palantir, Micron, AMD, Nike, Marathon, SoFi, Plug, Hood, and Oracle. Those are your top 20 names. You got Opendoor, that's up there. The Opendoor CEO, the new CEO, he tweeted a video of basically a new product they came out with that's going to let you try the home for 7 days before buying it. That's kind of the idea. And I don't fully understand the nature of the product, but there's a 100-day home warranty. You can buy the home for 7 days and then choose to, it's almost like a trial. And that's kind of the first new products that they put out.
And test the place out. If you don't love it, just walk away. Zero risk. If you can't sleep, give it back. We want you to love it or leave it. And on top of that, your Opendoor home comes with a 100-day warranty that covers all major systems and appliances. We want you to be sure that your home comes with total peace of mind. You don't have to check back the fridge or test the dishwasher. These are just the first 2 benefits that we're launching at Opendoor for buyers. You should expect more of us here. We want to change the way buying, selling, and owning a home works. We're committed to building a future for homeowners with a commitment to the people that we serve. We believe every buyer deserves the peace of mind when they buy a home, when they buy the biggest thing they're going to buy in their life.
All right. So like, is this, I have not bought a home before. I'm sure there's plenty of people in the chat that have gone through the process of buying a home. Is this making any sense? A 7-day trial on buying the home and then a 100-day warranty if you don't like the home? I didn't play the first minute of the video, but the first minute is him talking about a story back in 1990 when his wife and him bought a house for the first time. And it's like this deep personal story about how much they hated the noise in the basement. And he used that story and that anecdote to make a business argument for why homes should have this like 7-day trial or whatever. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, I mean, yeah, you're not going to know every little detail about buying the home, but I don't know if it's the biggest regret in the world because like there's a little bit of sound in the basement or something. But he made it seem like it was such a big deal and it was such an emotional part of his life as a homeowner. And I'm like, I don't think it's that serious, bro. Or maybe you should have just done a better job inspecting the home before you bought it to know if there's going to be a sound in the basement, right? Like maybe that's a you thing versus like the average home buyer sucks at inspecting type of thing. I will say, as I see a lot of people in the chat saying it's a little gimmicky, I will say it is something new. And with Open Door, which did give back a lot of the gains even after that was announced back at 8:09 on the day, it is something new. And like you need something new if you're going to take over a company. And they're trying something new. I just don't fully know if this is going to get that many people to get in. So again, a 7-day, what's the exact word of it? A 7-day trial, 100-day, 7-day home test drive is what they're calling it, 100-day home warranty. It is kind of weird though, if you move in everything to a home and then 100 days later you hate it and then you have to move everything out. Like when we moved in 2020 to when my parents moved, it took 100 days to unpack everything. I mean, like it took a couple months to really get everything situated. So that part also is a little confusing to me around how this will play out. But it's different. Never heard of this before. And I think they do want to do some different stuff. Who's holding on to the risk on the 7 days for Open Door? That's absolutely untenable. That's a good question. I don't fully know. 30 days would have been enough. Yeah, but see, it's weird, right? Moving in and out of a spot in 30 days. I don't know, but we're gonna see. Now here, I was talking with Tanner about Open Door the other day after the podcast, and he's a fan of Kaz because Kaz is from Shopify. Shopify is like his second largest position, so he really likes the new CEO. And I'm like, dude, I like him, but I don't see how they changed the structural problem in the business model, which is that there's no margins in selling homes. And he's like, well, they might be able to do this and do that. And I'm like, everything you're describing ends up sounding like Zillow, which is fine if they want to go back to being a marketplace that makes money off advertising. But, Kaz is stating his goal is that home ownership is the most important thing in the world and they want to increase that. That's fine. That's great. But to do that, you got to make a margin for the stock to get a multiple. And I still don't know how buying and selling homes gets you a multiple. So that is the most confusing part about this Open Door story. But I am willing to give the CEO a year. I mean, he left $300 million on the table at Shopify to do this. So obviously there is some level of excitement that he has to potentially push out new products and kind of change the culture of Open Door and potentially change the margin profile. And if so, that could change stuff. Robinhood announcing their earnings November 5th. There you go. November 5th is what you've got for Hood earnings. Those 7-day trials will hit margins. That's a good point. What happens to margins when people move into a home, have a 100-day warranty, and then move out? Who pays for those 100 days that you're in the home? And navigating the actual ability to clean up that home after those 100 days to be able to put it back on the market. All of that stuff seems like it is good for the consumer, really bad for the company's margins, which is fine if you give up some margin for better customer satisfaction. It's just they don't have any margin to begin with. So they're not giving up any margin. They don't have any margin. It's just worsening the margin profile. So that is a good point. That's another thing that's going to have to be figured out. There you go. Hoodie earnings November 5th. I think SoFi earnings October 28th was announced today as well. So SoFi earnings a day after my birthday. So we'll get SoFi earnings on Tuesday, October 28th, and then Robinhood November 5th. Election day is November 4th. The biggest election is going to be in New York City with Mamdani and Cuomo. And so we're going to see what happens with that election as well. Basically a free Airbnb, yeah, to an extent. It's only 7 days, not 100. The 100 is just a warranty for if anything breaks that they will replace it. Okay. So, okay, that makes a lot more sense if that's how they're framing the warranty. The way I thought of warranty was a little bit different. But, okay, so they're saying if anything breaks in the home, they'll replace it in 100 days. I think that's decent. That's a decent offering. So I guess you have 7 days then to live in it and see if it's worth staying. The 100-day home warranty means they'll fix stuff that goes wrong, but there's a 7-day return policy. That's not how home warranty works. Warranty works on all major appliances. It sounds a little gimmicky, I agree. But I do like that it's different. I do like that it was different. Yeah, I mean, obviously you wouldn't move all your stuff in 7 days. So you would have to live there and just get a feel for the home for 7 days. You can't get a feel in like the most comfortable way because you can't move everything in 7 days. So I guess they want you to just like sit there for 7 days inside of this home and see if you enjoy it. I guess that's the concept of it. I don't know. We'll see. It's different. It's different, which is important. Brad, thank you for being here, and thank you for becoming a channel member as well. Brad Warner, thank you for being here and being part of the channel. Felix, thank you for the super chat. Thanks again for everything. Bought more grab as well as a 185 March 27 call on Hood. Also broke 32% year to date. Congratulations on 32% year to date. That is absolutely incredible. I know this week has been really good for a lot of year to dates, given Nvidia's made a run, Tesla's made a run, Palantir's got back to 185, Hood obviously broke out. So definitely helping across the board, and congrats on 32% year to date. AMD trying to break 165 after hours. AMD again been a little bit of a laggard over the past couple weeks as Nvidia has broken out to all-time highs, but it looks like it wants to try to get there. And we're going to see if it can. Let's get a little bit more coverage on this government shutdown. Again, there's going to be more voting. And the voting actually just finished today, about 30 minutes ago, and Congress will not be in session tomorrow.
Senators leaving the door, leaving Capitol Hill. They're going to be out tomorrow for the Jewish holiday, which means that the next time they're going to be able to have a vote on this will be on Friday. That means that unless senators are going to wake up very early, which I don't think I've ever seen them do, we aren't going to be getting job numbers, at least not on Friday morning. Now, I have been told that the job numbers for September are set. And so when there is a stopgap and the government does reopen, we should be able to get those numbers. But remember, the longer this shutdown goes, it's going to actually begin to impact the collection of data on jobs, CPI, PPI, and that, of course, could all have a big impact on the data that's collected in October and how really accurate that data is, which, of course, is important for the Fed, it's important for economists, it's important for a lot of us who are trying to understand the economy. Scott?
Emily Wilkins, thanks for the latest. Appreciate that. Coming up.
So that vote has been in place. Congress will not be in session for tomorrow. And then we're going to see if that vote ends up leading to any level of progress on the shutdown. We saw Speaker Johnson talk about what happened today in regards to the shutdown. JD Vance actually took some questions today as well, trying to get more people to understand what exactly is happening and how it's playing out. So he took a few questions right here. So a little bit of footage on that and his perspective on why this is a Democrat shutdown.
It's separate from the government shutdown. We think that we can open the government and then have the conversation about what best healthcare policy to fit the needs of the American people. That's all we're trying to do. That's all we're trying to accomplish. We've got to reopen the government first. Now, Caroline, I don't know how you do this, how you actually choose people, because I don't know 90% of the names in here. Is it just who's the best dressed? Okay, I really like your shirt. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You are president of the Senate. Can you talk about what you're doing, what the administration is doing to try to get other Senate Democrats to vote to open the government?
Yeah, we're talking to a number of our colleagues, Democratic and Republican in the Senate. I talked to a number of them last night. The president, of course, is talking to them as well. I think there really are two categories of demands that I've seen privately from congressional Democrats. I think on the one hand, those who are negotiating in good faith are saying, look, we just want to make sure that we're able to have a conversation with the administration about some of the critical needs that we see that need to get fixed over the next few months. We recognize it's kind of absurd, and a lot of them will admit in private that it's kind of absurd to shut down the people's government over these disagreements, but just agree to negotiate with us in good faith on these issues. And of course, we're having that conversation with them. Then there's another category, people who say, give us everything we want or we're going to keep the government shut down. We just write those people off because they're not negotiating in good faith. And frankly, we don't need them. We've already got 3 more Democrats last night than I thought we would get. And I think it's because they recognize the illogic of the position of taking the entire American economy hostage because they don't get their policy priorities. So 3 moderate Democrats joined 52 Republicans last night. We need 5 more in order to reopen the government. And that's really where we're going to focus, is how to get those 5 additional Democrats.
Thanks, Mr. Vice President. First 2 questions. Are there plans to meet Democratic leaders again in the coming days, or are you planning on plucking out senators one by one?
So that's the whole question?
No, I got a second question.
Okay, go ahead and ask the second question.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer
I saw
recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the president of the United States about that. Now, to your first question, are we negotiating one-on-one? Are we negotiating in groups? Look, I will go to the U.S. Capitol right now and meet with Chuck Schumer or any Senate Democrat if it helps us reopen the government. Most of the conversations, in my experience at least, have been one-off. We're also, of course, relying on some of our Senate Republican colleagues who have good relationships across the aisle. We're going to do whatever we have to do is the answer. And I think it's tough to predict what shape this negotiation is going to take over the next few months. But I feel good about the fact that Democrats already realize privately the fundamental irrationality of their position. I hope that they're going to publicly acknowledge it and reopen the government. Right in the back. Yeah.
So again, as we can see, I mean, it continues to be a back and forth between the Democrats and the Republicans. I don't know when this stuff gets solved, but as of now, all of them are blaming each other. Tesla right there, 459.2 after hours. Gold and silver continue to have a really good day. I mean, these 2 assets are just not slowing down, and the S&P 500 also continue to do well as they are not slowing down. One thing that has been really weird, by the way, Trump did tweet today, and he called Jerome Powell an obstructionist. So he did have some Trump tweets to Powell again. One thing that is interesting right here is Japanese bonds. So Japanese 2-year bond yield has reached a fresh 2008 high. This is the highest level since 2008, surpassing 0.95%. At the same time, the 10-year government bond yield hit 1.64%, nearly the highest since July 2008. I don't want to read too much into what's happening in Japan, but over the past couple of weeks, as the United States market has been doing very well, and the Japanese stock market has not been doing that bad, the credit markets have been not the friendliest towards these yields, aka they've been selling off bonds, which is why the yields have been going higher. Essentially, it's suggesting that investors are expecting a rate hike in October from Japan and are demanding higher yields to compensate for the risk, which is why they're selling off a bunch of these bonds. We have not seen an impact on the U.S. credit markets. And remember, the reason April was so scary was because stocks were going down and bonds were going up, or yields on bonds were going up, which is scary because people should be buying bonds if they're not buying stocks, but they weren't buying anything. So the U.S. 10-year did get below 4 a couple weeks ago, now back at 4.1, has not been affected by Japan yet, but it's definitely something to keep in mind because it is kind of weird the way Japan's credit market is beginning to play out. And we're eventually going to see how it plays out in the coming months. By the time all the political drama is over, earnings will be off the table or on the table. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if this shutdown is done in a week, earnings starts in basically a week and a half. So hopefully the shutdown is done by the time we get into earnings. I mean, both of those happening. I mean, if we have a good earnings to start off Q3 and you have the shutdown going away, that could be a bunch of tailwinds colliding with each other. That could also help the broader markets. Any thoughts on HIMS? I still own my HIMS. This one's been really stuck in this range. I think it's cheap. 12 billion market cap, growing the way they are. I do think it's cheap. I think they do have a long-term vision to be a much, much larger company than they are today. But the stocks also run like crazy. I mean, it's still up, HIMS, even though it's down from the very highs, over 80% year to date, if I'm not wrong. So I think think towards the end of the year, just can't be too greedy. Never mind, 123%. Like this one's had a big move this year. So just not much to complain about, even though it has been stagnating over the past couple days. Where's Steve? I don't know. I texted him. He might still be in his meetings. He said give him 2 minutes. All right, so he'll be on in 2 minutes. And we'll get his thoughts on the day. Any thoughts on Constellation Energy? I like it. I like a lot of these big player energy names. This one has a 20. Wow, it was up 6% today. It has a 20-year deal with Meta. They signed a couple months ago. So Constellation, I think, is a massive, massive player in the data center space. It hasn't moved as aggressively as like the IRENs of the world, but very, very solid company. $109 billion market cap. So you're definitely getting into a bit of a large cap. Heat map today ended up kind of green. Meta was one of the only red tech companies. Walmart, Costco, Home Depot, insurance, financials were red, but big tech kind of held on along with healthcare. Lilly, great day, 8%, 5% yesterday. That's a 13% move over the past 48 hours. But yeah, I don't hate CEG at all. Honestly, CEG is one of the names I want to have in the public portfolio in 2026. I want a certain portion of it to be super simple names that you don't have to think too hard to understand. And even if they're not very volatile, they should be decent compounders. Amit, do you know what the move is on Tesla for if they beat 510? So the implied move usually on deliveries, this is not for tomorrow, but from what I've seen historically, having covered these deliveries like for the past, it's basically year and a half, about 2 years been covering them, tends to be about 9% up or down on the deliveries. This is just like what I've seen every time we've done it. I mean, on the low end, it's closer to 5%. On the high end, it's closer to like 12%. So there is a move that happens. The past two of them have been relatively flat, and one of them beat way better than expected. I think it came down like 380. The street expected 350, and there was like a 3% move. So it is going to be volatile, but it also might just not be, given that Tesla's run up so much. Now, if Tesla comes in way below expectations, I think it's volatile to the downside because too much of that is priced in. But if Kalshi's right, 510K would be massive. If it hits 510K, it's going to $510. Dude, for Tesla to break 500, it's never done that before. So that would be a big, big, big move. Question's just going to be if they can do it. But I think a lot of people are excited. I was going to say between 9.1 and 8.9. Yeah, usually from what I've seen over the past 2 years. I was doing some of the numbers this morning. Again, this is not anything implied by the options market, which is where you typically get the implied volatility move. That, to me, I've seen a 9% move up and down on aggregate, but the past two have been flat, which means, you know, if it is flat tomorrow, then it gets to keep this 460 level. All right, folks, let's bring someone onto the show. Someone who is a new YouTuber who has captured 3,000 subscribers without posting a single video. Quite incredible feat to accomplish. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steven Fiorillo. Steve, what's up?
Is it even fair to call me a YouTuber if I haven't posted anything yet?
Dude, you're a YouTuber. You have a YouTube channel.
I mean, maybe we should just keep this going and just not post anything and see how many people we can get to subscribe.
Dude, now that you have subscribers, people are going to demand the content. I just hope you're ready for the level of demand.
Saturday night. Saturday night's going to be the first stream.
Saturday night will be the first. So real quick, and can one of the mods link Steve's channel in the chat, and I'll pin it. What is the pitch to subscribe to your channel? I was reading your description for the channel, but what should people expect from it?
That I am going to cover a wide range of investable topics and provide the due diligence and research that I conduct for myself. And then people can use that to help their investment process or just laugh at what I do.
Okay, but there's more to that because I was reading your description and you mentioned movies and food, so it's not just DD.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be, you know, we're going to go deep into the tiers of Steven Seagal movies. We're going to go deep into the movies that Amit has never seen. We're going to talk about Yankee baseball. We're going to do a lot of stuff.
This is exciting, bro. This is very, very, very exciting.
We may even start a whole sports thing where I have some people come over and we just stream ourselves yelling at the TV. I mean, we'll see.
What are you going to do on a live stream when someone gives you a very nasty comment and you see it?
You think I care?
No, but let's say you're talking and it pops up and it's a really nasty comment. Like, how are you going to react in the moment?
There is nothing anybody can say to me that has not been said already.
So now you're challenging people. Now you're challenging.
I'm serious. Trust me, I've been writing finance articles for like 5 or 6 years. There is nothing anybody can say that has not already been said.
No, that's fair. You got to have a thick skin for this. You definitely have to have a thick skin. So,
yeah.
There you
and
go.
Once again, I don't care. Like, you can disagree with what I say. It's great. You have your own opinion.
Everyone's going to spam milk is unhealthy the first stream.
Dude, milk is very healthy. It is pure. Okay.
All right, so let's get into some market talk. I mean, NVIDIA, I texted you yesterday that we got to all-time highs, and you didn't even realize it was the case. What is your reaction?
No, I've been busy during the day, like really busy. Yeah, NVIDIA is amazing. And once again, not looking to toot my own horn, but a lot of people saying that it's a bubble. A lot of people saying it's top. NVIDIA is going to keep growing. I mean, I think that I did some research late last night because I was so angry I couldn't sleep. I was so disgusted with the Yankees that I ended up doing some research. And there are so much M&A activity in the AI space, and there have been so many deals. I don't think people have really aggregated this. I'm going to put something out tonight or tomorrow about it. And I think I'm going to increase my price target on NVIDIA.
But what does the M&A have to do with NVIDIA for you?
The M&A in the AI space of companies acquiring private companies and the amount of money that's being spent in these deals, I just think that people are trying to say AI is a buzzword because they don't have any other argument. And they're trying to make that a rhetorical thing now.
Right.
Because they can't fathom that this amount of money can be spent without an ROI. But I think that they're not looking at it correctly and I said in my tweet the other day, Alphabet, Microsoft, and Amazon are embedding generative AI tools into not just their platforms, but their cloud services for companies to take advantage of. So you can't say that there's no ROI on the investment because their cloud, they can't keep up with the growth, either of those companies. So I think it's inaccurate what the bears are saying. The numbers do not support what the bears are saying.
Meta 717, first time it got close to 700 in a while. Are you a buyer here, or do you kind of wait for the 680s if it ever gets there?
I mean, I'm not buying here, but I don't think it's a bad level to buy.
But you said it's $1,000 stock eventually, right?
It is. But I have a bunch of Meta. Like, it's not something that I am personally buying. Like, I am personally buying more NVIDIA, and I am personally buying more BMNR.
Those are the two main ones that are on your mind right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Meta gets down to 500, I'll start allocating some capital there.
Right.
But look, that's only because I already have a position in it. You know, that's one of the things where if you had asked me to choose between NVIDIA and Meta right now, I think NVIDIA is going to have more ROI in a shorter period of time. So that's why I'm putting capital there.
BMNR up 1.3% today. Ethereum, nice little blast off of 5%. I think it's really healthy what we saw today on Bitmine. It looks like Tom Lee probably at 53 to 54.50 was diluting to raise money to buy more ETH, and he was doing it at a great premium. So I think the price action on that was conducive with Ethereum today.
Are you ready, Amit? Are you ready?
For what? Oh my gosh, dude. Why are you such
don't block the box.
Why are you such a mean human being, bro?
I'm not. There are people blocking the box.
Do you have to honk at them like that? Like
they're in the middle of the street.
Okay, but do you have to be such a dick? Like, goodness gracious.
In the middle of the street.
feel like you use that honk button on your car every day, to be honest. I don't think a day goes by.
You drive through New York City every day and tell me if you do or don't.
I'm just saying, that's aggressive.
Okay.
That's aggressive. Someone says road rage is so sexy. Oh, this is the stuff people are going to say to you when you're live, bro. You got to be ready for this shit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting.
Admit you don't understand. Yeah, I probably don't understand because I don't drive through New York every day. But
so think about this. You're crossing the street, right? So you're walking through the crosswalk. Imagine if you have a green light to go straight and there are cars just sitting there because they ran the light and now they have nowhere to go because people are crossing the street. Like, it's ridiculous.
But what does you honking do to change that situation?
They need to go around and go in the freaking bike lane and move.
Oh my gosh.
There are city drivers and then there are not city drivers.
We got to drive together one day. We'll see. Brian says, that's how I know Steve is from New York. Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Question for you on Open Door. So CEO came out with a new policy today.
All right. So, yeah, I'm excited about BMNR. I bought more today.
Okay, we'll go back to BMNR. Why? Why are you so excited about it still? Did I lose him? Did you guys lose him? I do not hear him. Is that me? We lost him, right? We lost him. All right, he's going to have to. That's what he gets for honking, bro. That's what he gets. I'll tell him to rejoin. Dude, I am not. Oh, there he is. I am not that big of a honker. There you are. You're back.
Yeah, you're coming in all choppy, so I exited and came back in.
Okay, so you're saying BMNR. I guess, why are you still so excited?
I'm really excited. I bought more today. I'm really excited, and I'm going to keep being excited until I have a full position.
Well, one thing I was saying about this is Tanner, good friend of our channel.
I think it's very undervalued.
Tanner, you can hear me, right, Steve?
I can hear you, Mr. Mustache.
Okay, it's a little bit of a delay. But I was saying Tanner made a video on this, and it got 35,000 views in a day. And I think anecdotally, all of us can look at that and say, wow, 35,000 people clicking on a BMNR video. It shows how much retail is excited about the potential of the momentum of Ethereum being leveraged to something like BMNR. And so it kind of goes to your point.
I think there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Can you hear me?
Dude, we can hear you, but there's a delay on your end. Like, I think you're hearing me late. Yeah, see, there's a delay. This is karma for him freaking honking at people, bro. They're messing up the audio. That's why you don't honk at people, folks. That's why you don't do it. Yeah, I'm gonna text him. He definitely cannot hear us. It's because of him honking. Ethereum right there, 43.34 right here after hours. Let me see. Yeah, let me call him instead. Let's give him a call. I think that'd be easier for this. Maybe it's karma for Amit not honking at anyone today. Steve, hey, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I don't know what's going on. I have full service.
It's karma for you honking at people.
Karma for me honking at people.
Yes, yes. That's exactly what it is, bro. Trust me.
Well, yeah, I saw that Mr. Mustache made a video.
Yeah, and dude, his video got 35,000 views in less than 24 hours. And to me, that just shows how many people are willing to watch a piece of content on something that is gaining more excitement in the retail space, which is this ETH leverage strategy from Tom Lake.
I love it. I hope it gets to 100,000 views.
And and that's my thing. I'm like, if that many people want to click on that content, consume that content, it means there's more and more excitement for the idea of being.
Don't fucking lie. What's wrong with these people?
See, this is why your audio stops working. You start cursing at people, get mean to people.
If people were driving like that in front of you, you would do the same thing.
I wouldn't be as mean as you. I think I'm a nicer person.
BMNR is, I think, very undervalued. I think he's going to do really well. And at this point, Tom Lee's going to end up owning 5% of Ethereum by February.
I think so too. Yeah. And if he does, it gets really exciting to see where it goes from there.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question on Open Door. So CEO came out with a new policy today. They are giving people a 7-day trial to live in the home and a 100-day warranty on any appliances in the home if anything happens with the fridge or the washing machine or anything like that, as a new attempt to get buyers to buy through Open Door. Now, a lot of people in the past have done kind of ideas around warranties and trials and stuff like that. I don't think we've seen it done in a systemic way like Open Door is trying to do through like this online buying and selling platform, baking in the warranty and the trial. Do you think that is a more compelling pitch to get someone to buy a home off of Open Door?
That can only end badly.
Why?
You know the amount of people that are going to scam that and cut a wire or do this or do that to get a free appliance?
Really? You think if someone moves into a house, they're going to mess up the fridge just to get a new one?
I'm just saying, if it's an older version and I could see that happening, absolutely. Another thing, 7 days. Oh, so you don't like the home, so they're going to give you a refund. You're going to leave. Where are you going to go? I mean, I don't think that's going to attract people. There's no seriousness. You're going to move all your stuff in, and then you got to deal with moving all your stuff out. And you just moved into your apartment. I mean, I don't know how much stuff you moved in, but if you're moving in from a home to another home, the last thing you're going to want to do is move all your stuff out just after move again.
Well, what if the idea is not you move everything in those 7 days? What if it's just you get a feel for the home in 7 days, not really officially move?
I mean, it's a home. I don't know how I think that's kind of crazy, but it wouldn't, for me, that's not a factor. I mean,
that wouldn't be a compelling way to get you to use Open Door.
No. Look, I'm never using Open Door, ever.
You know, you said the same thing about Robinhood, and things have changed.
I did say the same thing about Robinhood. And I will say this, in my defense, if Coinbase was cheaper to buy Ethereum, I would have bought it on Coinbase.
Speaking of Robinhood, can we talk about your fantastic timing of writing articles about Robinhood?
Did you read the article or did you just see that?
I didn't read shit. All I saw was rating downgrade, and then I saw the stock go a little higher.
Because I went from bullish to neutral. I didn't say sell it. I didn't say I was bearish. I said a lot of really nice things. And I said I think it's ultimately going higher. But after the run that it's had, I could see it cooling off for a little bit. And if you actually pull up the article and you look at the tables that I put in, when I compared it to Schwab and investment brokers, and you look at the operating margin and you look at the stuff I put in there, I mean, I think there's a case for it cooling off a bit. That doesn't mean it can't go higher. And I think it's a phenomenal company that's going to continue to grow.
Okay, but you're one of my good friends.
Your timing wasn't great.
You're one of my good friends, and you downgraded one of my favorite stocks. And
I'm being objective.
I get it. I'm just saying, like, I woke up, one of my good friends, and you told me on Sunday you were writing an article too. I was like, oh, good, we're gonna get it. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, rating downgrade. All right, he's bearish, even though you're not really bearish.
I didn't put rating downgrade. They put rating downgrade.
Okay, so it's different. Well, I do want to get your thoughts on this. I mean, the stock went from 120 to 140. Do you think it's too much momentum, or do you think there's a reason for?
Look, it's been a momentum market. And Robinhood's done a lot of great things. But when you look at the numbers, I mean, pull up the table I'm talking about. Look at the operating income that investment brokers does and what their margin is versus Schwab and versus Robinhood. There's a reason why I think that it can cool off right there. I mean, it is a little richly valued compared to those two companies. Now, those two companies have not had the same meteoric growth over the past year. But if you look forward, Schwab is expected to have more EPS growth than Robinhood.
Yeah, but do you think using those metrics are enough to understand Robinhood? Because I feel like that's just it's too simplistic of a way to understand what exactly Robinhood's doing, looking at Schwab's EPS growth compared to them.
I'm just saying that a dollar is a dollar. And when you look at this from these metrics, it makes it look that it's run a little far. That doesn't mean it can't keep running. I'm just saying there are other financial brokers that have better margins and more EPS growth that don't trade at nearly the same valuation. It goes back to the Palantir versus Salesforce thing. It doesn't mean that it has to happen.
Are you still adding to Salesforce, or are you kind of giving up on that one?
I haven't added recently in the past month, but I'm going to add more.
But you are still holding, basically.
Yeah. Tremendously undervalued.
All right. That is fair.
I don't think that it's the best ROI at the moment. I think that I think NVIDIA is going to run. I really do. And the amount of spend that we're seeing is only going to go up. And after really looking into these different deals that are happening, I am so freaking bullish. And you want to know what's funny? How about the fact that Intel is now going to potentially build AMD's chips?
I saw that news today, and once again, it's like Trump's not going to let Intel fail. That's it.
And it makes me wonder, is he just going to start taking positions in more and more companies now?
I see. Look, if that happens, I think the business community would not. I think they're letting Intel and Lithium America slide because those are like national security things. But if he starts becoming a VC fund, I don't know if people are going to love it.
I mean, it's not good when the government steps in and picks winners. So we do not want that happening.
I agree. Getting some questions in the chat about XRP. You want to tell everyone what you told me yesterday about XRP?
That I went into the post office to go mail something, and the postal workers were talking about XRP and how the only way to get rich is to buy something really low and sell it really high and blah, 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 blah. That comment?
Yeah.
Yeah. In a nutshell, I walked into the post office to mail something out, and the two postal workers were talking about buying XRP and how you have to store it and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. I cannot believe what I was listening to while I was mailing something out.
But does that mean you're going to kind of sell it or double down based on that conversation?
Oh, I'm certainly not doubling down based on that conversation. I would double down if my research said double down. I actually thought about converting a little bit of it to Ethereum. But
wow.
I still think that there is a play for XRP, but I do think there's a huge play for Ethereum also. So,
yeah. I mean, look, I've already told you this, but I think stablecoins solves the use case of XRP, which is cross-border payment. So I think that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think Ethereum could be a better bet long term. Got a headline right here. Yahoo is close to a $1.4 billion buyout, or no, to sell AOL. Yahoo does own AOL to Italy's Bending Spoons. Huh.
Great name for a company, Bending Spoons.
I actually know this company because Arnie's from Italy and he's told me about them, but they're like a software holding company. Wow, they're going to buy AOL. Interesting.
Great name for a company.
Dude, AOL, if it gets sold for $1.5 billion, back in the .com bubble, that thing was worth a lot more than $1 billion.
Oh, yeah. Think about this. You go back and you look at this. The fact that AOL bought Mark Cuban's company for like $3.5 billion, just the fact that he figured out a way to stream Indiana basketball on the internet, I mean, it's just crazy. But that's how much money that, oh my God.
And he protected himself on the top and the bottom line by selling puts and calls against his stock before the .com crash. It was quite incredible how he did it. So that makes sense.
Yeah, really incredible.
All right, Steve, last question for you. You are no longer a shareholder of Tessie, but broke through 460 today. Do you think this is all hype, or Can it hold?
I don't know. Let's see what the earnings call says. Let's see what the earnings call says when they report in 3 weeks.
I would imagine you think this 460 is not justified.
I think it's crazy, but what do I know? The market thinks it's correct, so that's all that really matters in the end.
447K is the consensus analyst deliveries number tomorrow. Would you take the over or under on that?
I would take the over only because anybody who wanted a Tesla wasn't waiting till Christmas. They're buying it now because this is when you're going to get the EV credits. So I think you're going to get over.
Yeah, Kalshi has them at 500,000. I'd take the over.
I would take the over on that. You know what's doing well, actually?
What?
Have you looked at Alibaba lately?
Dude, China.
Have you looked at Alibaba?
It's up another 3% today.
I mean, talk about the gift that keeps on giving with that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, Baba's up 115%. I think most of us definitely ignore China, Baba, JD, Baidu. However,
You can say most. I'm still a shareholder.
yeah, but didn't you get rid of Baba a while ago, like a decent amount of it? Or?
I'm still. Oh, I got rid of some. I'm still a shareholder.
I was just going to say, I mean, the U.S. markets have been so good to everybody that you didn't really need to go to China to get the alpha. But, you know, David Tepper back in 2024, he said he's buying everything in China, and it worked out. Worked out very well.
Yeah, K-Web has seen a lot of inflows.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, first of all, they're stimulating. They're printing a crap ton of money. Wow, K-Web's up 47% this year. That's incredible. And then they're trying to support their AI economy potentially by building their own NVIDIA with Huawei. And you know, whether that works or not, they're definitely allocating a ton of spend to that, which matters.
Which could be huge.
It could be massive. It could be absolutely massive. But you did have to take some CCP risk to get those gains.
Right, and a little bit of risk is not necessarily a horrible thing. I still think the U.S. is going to be the dominant superpower in it, but Baba has been an undervalued play for a long time. It's finally starting to break out. I'm pretty happy about that. Because, look, the numbers are really good.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, the numbers, I remember back in 2020 when they tried to get Ant Financial to go public, and that's when Jack Ma got taken down. But like, I remember that whole set. Baba was $350 a share at that point. So
I know.
It's trying to get back to those levels.
I know. Well, I'm going to put something out tonight and some of my research about all this additional AI spend that I'm seeing outside of the big four. It's pretty interesting what's going on, especially the core REIT stuff. I mean, man.
Well, okay, so I agree. The CoreWeave deal yesterday, along with all these other data center plays, it's continuing to make me believe 2026 is a year where you have to pick one of them, whether it's Nebius, CoreWeave, Iran. I think everyone needs to pick at least one because it doesn't seem like that demand is slowing down at all.
No, it's only getting steeper.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Steve, thank you. What time for the stream on Saturday?
It's either going to be 9 or 9:30. More details to come. So if you're interested, come nerd out on a Saturday night with me about stocks. And this one will be probably predominantly about stocks. And we'll get into other ones about other types of things. But I'm even going to do live openings of Pokemon cards and baseball cards. Like, we're going to do everything.
Dude, you're going to do everything, dude.
We're going to do everything. It's going to be a jack of all trades.
I love it.
All
right.
Different types of investments that people don't necessarily want to talk about. Going to be interviewing people. Got a bunch of people already lined up. It's going to be interesting. Your buddy's going to be on, Alex, at some point.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. And thank you to everybody that subscribed. It means a lot.
All right. I'm excited for it. I will see you on, well, you'll be on probably on the close on Friday, but I'll be on Saturday night with you for that stream.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Talk later.
Later, everyone.
Dude, get Joseph Carlson on. That would be hilarious. That's what we get. You guys got to tell Steve on Saturday in the chat to get Joseph Carlson on. He's going to get a kick out of that. He will get a freaking kick out of that. By the way, this is the clip of what Cuban did to preserve his money back in the .com crash. For those that haven't seen it, this is a classic of how he navigated that situation.
You had a company that was broadcasting on the internet,
right?
Television stuff.
Audio and video. So all the streaming, everything YouTube does, we started that.
You started that.
It was called AudioNet, and we started in 1995.
And when Yahoo bought you,
right,
they gave you $2.5 billion?
No, they gave us $5.7 billion in stock.
Right.
And then, so I got 33% of it or whatever.
Right.
And then
when Yahoo went to about $2.5 billion, you sold everything.
When it went up, I did a hedge, right? They called it one of the top 10 trades all time on Wall Street.
What did you do?
So I got all this stock from Yahoo, and everybody else thought the internet bubble was going to keep on going forever. Right. I'm like, there's no way. So I sold calls, bought puts. So I protected my stock. And so it went up in value some more and went up to where my hedge was and then cashed me out.
I see.
And
So
then the whole market cratered and I was protected.
when you cashed out, Yahoo went up a little bit more, and people said
Right.
to you, "Oh, aren't you sorry?
Well, exactly
Why
right.
didn't you hold on to it?" And you said, "I've got $2.5
$2
billion.
Well, how much do you need, right? That's exactly.
And you didn't get greedy. I mean, you could have kept saying, "I'll stay in another day. I'll stay in another week." And if you had waited just a couple of weeks,
probably about 6 weeks, I would have been fucked.
Like, how badly fucked? You might have lost $1 billion.
Oh, more than that.
More.
Oh yeah. No, Yahoo went from like $300 to like $5.
It went from what to what?
Like 300 to 5.
Wow, in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, probably over the course of a year, but it would have been impossible to really get out.
Right. And so some of the guys that were in business with you all got stock as well.
Yep.
Did some of them stay in too long and get tanked?
Yeah, I mean, I went to everybody that owned stock in the company. I said, do this.
Get out. I'm getting
Just
out
protect
now.
yourself, right? Protect
yeah.
yourself, right? And some of them did, but a lot of them didn't.
Wow.
They just got caught up. And there's some miserable friends that I have. And
Like-
employees, like the guys who put in, I was just talking to my partner, Todd Wagner, just the other day, actually. The guys who put in $30,000 ended up with $30 million.
Wow.
And some of our employees who were there right at the beginning that we didn't have a lot of money, we gave them stock, 15, 20, 25 million. And a chunk of them just lost it all.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh,
What is
killer.
they worth $20 million one day.
And then
That's it.
nothing.
It's your ticket to freedom.
Nothing.
And then zero.
Nothing. You're searching
Somebody
for a
takes your
job.
Ticket away.
Wow. And
yeah.
you begged these guys. You said, look, even you were the major stockholder,
Yeah,
right?
I was the largest stockholder
were
by far.
Yeah. You hit $2.5 billion and you said, hey, if I stay in, maybe I'll have $5 billion.
No, yeah. And
But
I
you-
told these guys, come on now. Seriously?
After the $2.5 billion, after buying the Mavericks, after
Yeah.
blah, 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 what are you worth today now?
Probably more than 3 because I've made some good investments.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of wild, bro. It's kind of freaking wild. So he bought puts and sold calls on his stock. So when the calls got called away, after a couple months, he could have made a lot more money, but then the entire market crashed, which means the calls ended up being the best calls you could ever sell. The puts ended up printing when the market collapsed. And so, yeah, one of those reasons for why options even exist, right? To hedge your portfolio into the downside. NVIDIA right there, 186.70 after hours, and then Tessie, 459, still holding that after hours. Jeffrey, thanks for the super chat. He says, nice. So Steve's channel will be a channel with genuine movie taste where you've actually seen the movies and don't pretend. Okay. I don't talk about movies that I haven't seen on this channel. Okay. Except when it comes to Animal House. But then I watched it. So all is good because I watched it and I made up for it. But, if I haven't watched the movie, I won't give an opinion on it. It's just the few movies I've watched, I have very strong opinions on this. So that's what makes up the pop culture segment of how I think about movies. Yeah, Steve's channel right there in the chat. He's crossed 3,000. It's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Very, very happy that people are supporting him right here. And I think it's going to be fun. Because, again, Steve just has one of those personalities where he can go live and talk about anything and make it interesting. So I am really happy he's embracing this journey, and it'll be fun to be part of his journey as well. So there you go. I think that is it for us, folks. We are pretty much done for the day, and this is the finish to the first day of Q1. Tracy, thank you for the $10 super chat. I started to learn markets in January of this year. I got 18,000 and turned it into 28,000 here in Maine. Congratulations, Tracy, and thank you for being part of the channel. Again, it's never too late to start, and it has been a bull market, which has helped us all, but understanding the fundamentals of how to invest, how to find good companies, how to buy the dip, how to be allocated in the names that you think have a chance of doing well and kind of avoid some of the names that might be a little too speculative. It's all part of a journey. And it's super, super incredible to see people taking up that journey. One of the other exciting things about investing, again, I was talking to a couple people about this a week ago. It's just like, I was getting interviewed a week ago as well by a kid in college, and he's just starting out and he's trying to figure out the world of investing. And it's like that, like everyone's just trying to figure it out once you jump in, no matter how old you are, whether you're 21 or 51, you're just jumping in, and it's a process. And that process has ups and downs, but it is a very rewarding process for those that are in it. Mark, thank you for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a channel member as well. Again, I don't think we're going to be doing this kitchen stream tomorrow. I think it was just a fuse in that room, and so it should be fixed by tomorrow morning. If not, I'll probably be in the studio downstairs tomorrow for the market open. But yeah, this is the kitchen here. So there you go. Amit is mogging the sun right now. It is a nice sun. It is a very, very nice sunny view. The sunsets here are the coolest part, bro. The sunsets, like the sun is nice, but when the sun sets, because it's a bit of a high rise, right? So you get to really see the sunset, like literally see the sun go down. It's a pretty nice view when you see that happen. Dude, I found the fuse box. I didn't see the switch turn the other way, like because I used to do that at my parents' house. Like when the lights went out, there would be one switch that would be the opposite direction of everything else in the fuse box. I didn't see that in the other room, so I feel like it might be something else, but maybe I didn't look at it correctly. But it should be fixed soon, so it shouldn't be too bad. Get out the box. Yeah, I need to get out the freaking box before Steve freaking honks at me. Dude, how many people legit honk? Excluding if you live in New York. I just feel like honking is aggressive, dude. Like if you honk, you gotta be, I don't know, you just gotta be like in a situation where you need to do that honk. Because I don't tend to do it. I do not tend to do it. Every stream without bricks hood drops 3%. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. I think that's it, folks. I think we're done. I live in KC. Sometimes you honk, but not that often. You have to do it, but you can do it gently in New York. In Chicago, we honk. All right. I guess more people honk than not. One final update before we end out for the day, meetups. So I was talking to a couple people yesterday on some new logistics and infrastructure on planning these meetups. Don't hold me to it yet, but I think January we're going to do New York. Hopefully end of January, New York. And yeah, still working on details, still working on logistics, have a lot of new ideas for this, but it looks like we're going to be bringing the meetups back. Again, the goal is one meetup every month of next year. Might be a little hard to do that, but I think if we get some people in place. Actually, we were talking about Chicago yesterday as well. So Chicago is on the list. I think we might be able to do Chicago. But yeah, New York will likely be January. If we bring the meetups back in January, it might have to take until February. But if we bring it back January, it will be New York. And we will bring them back. It should be fun. Should be very, very exciting. Dude, I've been to DC so many times, but yeah, we'll definitely have to do a DC meetup as well. There's a lot of people there in DC. I don't know if we'll do Toronto part 2. I love Toronto, T-Dot, one of my favorite cities. I would love to do it. We just got to see if we have the time to put that in, but yeah, it would be fun to do Toronto. Dude, I want to go to a Knicks. I've never been to an NBA game, and now that I'm living a bit closer to Madison Square Garden, like I want to go to an actual Knicks game. I've never been to a NBA basketball game, and I want to go to a Knicks game. So hopefully in the coming months we can. I don't even think I've been to Madison Square Garden, and it's like people come across the world, and I've lived near it for so many years, but I've just never been to a game. So I would love to go to one of those. Go with Spike Lee. Yeah, that would be exciting. That would be, dude, a courtside seat. How much are courtside seats for the Knicks? It's got to be like 30 to 50 grand or some crazy number. Yeah, it's about on the low end 10,000. On the high end, you're talking 62,000. It's aggressive, bro, for a courtside seat. It's a hell of an experience, but bro, for like a basic game that no one cares about, it's probably going to be below 10,000. A couple of these are saying 4,000 to 6,000 for non-elite games. Playoffs, it's out of the window what the prices could be. Like game 3, Knicks versus Celtics, 42,000 for a courtside game. It's crazy. That's a lot of grand. Yeah, bro. Like, see, I could never pay that much. Dude, I could never buy a courtside seat for $40,000. Like, no way, bro. The opportunity cost of $40,000. Like, I would pay like $300-400 for a decent seat in Madison Square Garden, but $40,000 to sit for 2 hours and watch people put a ball through a net. Yeah, the PE ratio on those seats is wild, bro. Goodness. Yeah, only free courtside tickets. I mean, most people that go courtside, they usually get it for free because some part of the ownership of the building wants like celebrities and people in those seats, and they end up giving a lot of those out for free. But for the people that actually have to buy it, that's a ton. That's a ton to pay. He said he'd never fly first class 2 years ago. Never say never. Okay, but then I started actually flying, and I got so freaking annoyed with seeing these like 3-year-old kids being you're walking through a flight, getting ready to sit in the middle of 2 people, and then you see this 3-year-old that just happens to be born into a rich family sitting in first class, stretching his legs, and I'm like, bro, like, what is this? Is just embarrassing. But also, I've still never flown first class because I still don't think it's worth it. So now international, it's probably worth it, but domestically, I've never done first class. I've never even done business class domestic. It's always been economy or basic economy. It's not worth it. It's just not worth the money. People pay $30K to sit up front at WWE. I used to really like watch WWE when I was younger. I think that's when it was prime back in 2010. But yeah, those seats also, I mean, that entire industry has so much excitement behind it, but I've not kept up with it for a long time. All right, folks, that's it for me. We are done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow. Hey, this is going to have a slow week, right? Does it feel like a slow week? Tomorrow's only Thursday. It feels like tomorrow's a Friday. A lot of stuff happened this week. I mean, the fact that Hood was at freaking 120 on Monday. Lots of things have changed. Tesla was at 420 on Monday, 460. NVIDIA broke all-time highs. So you got a lot of different things that have happened. Government shutdown. S&P doesn't really care that much about it. Bitcoin with a nice big move today, along with Ethereum. And hopefully we can keep that momentum going into the second day of Q2. Or Q4, and eventually get to end out the Q4. Bro, the government shutdown. Yeah, it did, but it's like, so far, markets have not felt the impact. And also, I just think it's moving slower this week because now there's going to be so many more votes on this government shutdown. Like, it's just going to be a saga that drags out. But it definitely has been a bit of a slower week. Yeah, Accelera, great day. Lots and lots and lots of different moves on the day. CoreWeave, great week. Nebius, did we close at 115 on Nebius? 115 close on Nebius. So, exciting week across the board. Hoodie right there, 139. Palantir, 184.55. Then the S&P, 668.15. All right, folks, that is it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll be live tomorrow, likely back in the regular studio. We'll keep it going. Thank you, as always, for being here every single day. I will see everybody tomorrow. London is on the list for next year. It'll be very fun to do London. I got a lot of people that are out there in London, so that is definitely on the list. Hopefully we can make it happen. Germany's on the list as well, Munich in particular. So we're going to see what we can do. But we will try to get those meetups to happen. So there you go. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Market Open. Yes, Galaxy's Mike Novogratz will be on tomorrow. I thought he was on Friday. It's actually tomorrow. So 10:30 tomorrow, he'll be on for those that are fans of Galaxy or those who are fans of Mike Novograd's kind of a crypto OG. We'll get his thoughts on the market, crypto, data center plays, all that stuff, and we'll keep going from there. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Market Open. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.